Hello, Anthony. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Welcome and welcome to another Divergent channel. This is all about being here and ready. We had Anthony, but probably it's having some sort of internet issues, connections. Here it is again. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you? You good?
All good, and you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
So you are enjoying the sunshine?
Well, I did a few months ago. I haven't seen none since.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
So yeah, how's things? Anybody else joining? What's happening?
Yeah, people are joining. People are joining. But yeah, we have Wayne in the house. We have Tiago.
You all right, guys?
Hello.
We have George. Yeah. I don't know where do you want to start? Do you want to start like if someone has any questions, and then we go from there?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, we can go with questions for the people that are just starting on this journey. And people who have already been on this journey can ask questions too if they like, in relation to counter-tax energy, whatever they want to talk about.
Okay, let's go then. Who has any questions? Wayne, do you want to go first?
No, I've got no questions. I'm just listening, to be honest. I'm all good. Just trying to work while I'm listening to you guys, so I'm going to put myself back on mute.
And so Tiago, I don't know if you know Anthony, but Tiago is the one who did he's been doing the liens and service affidavit in French.
Okay, great stuff. Great stuff.
And he received a lovely letter from where was it from, Tiago?
Belgium.
Yeah, but was it from the one ministry that told you that they are not they are not equipped to answer your affidavit, wasn't it?
Hello, anyone still there?
Yeah, I think Tiago, he has a little bit, because he speaks more fluent French, so okay. I think he has a little bit understanding in English. Yeah, but I will tell you, he posted that he received a letter of incompetence from one of the monkey boys that he sent a lien to.
Oh, the usual then. Okay.
Yeah, but they wrote it down, you know, like this office is not competent to answer your questions.
Oh, bless them. Well, at least they put a little bit of truth out there, don't they? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So
okay, because anyone that it's here don't have any questions, so I will do the questions then. Yeah. So, in your view, for someone that is starting now, what would you say that they should be focusing on? Because there's a lot of things, you know, for someone that is starting, there's a lot of things that they can get overwhelmed with. So what would you say that is the best?
First of all, they need to focus on themselves. What I mean by that is they need to realise who they are and who they are not, because there's been a lot of subversion of language, a lot of fraudulent conveyance of language that put you in positions of occupier and household persons and all this crap. And don't just read the affidavit once, read it 10 times. Go sit in a cafe, go out of the house, sit in a cafe, away from all distractions, and just read the affidavit. 2 pages, 3 pages at a time if you want to. But just read, because all the facts are there, and you're not going to get it the first time. You're probably not going to get it the second time. I still refer to it myself, and I've been doing this now for nearly 3 years. So if you're starting on this journey, you need to start realising who you are and who you are not, first of all, and start reading the affidavit, because all the facts are in there and it's been tightly contained within 65 pages. Baron David Ward could have, made that 100, 150, 200 pages long, but he contained it all within less than 100 pages, and all the facts are there and everything's spelt out for you. So if you're starting on this journey, this is not something where we tell you to stop paying bills. You need to start realising what bills actually are, and what bills aren't, basically, and what you should be funding and what you shouldn't be funding, basically. This is not a quick fix thing where you can get out of paying this and get out of paying that. That's not what we're here for. We're here to establish the facts, and give you the tools on your journey, and the firepower, basically, to start bringing an end to all this criminality that's going on, because we're all victims of the same crimes. And remember, I was on your journey once as well, and I'm still on this journey, and I'm still learning. We haven't got all the answers; nobody has, but we have got all the facts contained within that affidavit, and that's your holy grail, basically, for when you want to bring down these criminals and put an end to all this nightmare that's going on, basically. So yeah. That's really it.
And would you say that, like, if someone wants to start, like we have a few new people coming in, and they want to start somewhere, what would you say to them? Like, if they want to go like straight ahead with council or straight ahead with companies that are, let's say, water, electricity, whatever.
Well, I wouldn't just dive in at the deep end and start cancelling direct debits and stuff. I'd get the facts. If you want to start a lien, for example, I know it's a daunting task for anyone that's just coming into the fold and doing these things, and it can be quite difficult and quite stressful. And that's what we're all here for, to help you with. Once you've established the facts and got the formal agreements in place, then you can, if you feel comfortable with going ahead and cancelling your direct debits, because you realise that you're basically funding criminals, and we don't need to provide any evidence. We don't make any claims. They make the claim, and they provide the evidence themselves, all by themselves, due to their lack of silence and failure to provide evidence to their claims. So they do all the work for us, basically. We just put all the claims in writing that they make and let them basically expose themselves for the criminals that they are. But if you want to start on this journey, people have got many ways of doing it. A lot of people start with the MPs. I haven't actually done any MP liens yet. Maybe I should be ashamed of myself, maybe not, but I've done 21 liens so far against 21 scumbags from all different walks of life in these corporations. And to be honest with you, when I done my first lien, it was Adrian James that led the way and helped me with that. And he didn't have to. He didn't even know who I was. I just messaged him, showed my interest, and he helped me with my first lien, Birmingham City Council. But the easiest one to probably deal with, in terms of all these fraudulent bills, is probably water, because they can't cut you off under their own bullshit rules, because water belongs to no one. So you can probably start with water. Council tax, because they're a corporate mafia, they're probably the most difficult ones to deal with. I've managed to keep them at bay so far and fucked off the idiot that was at my door chasing council tax. But I haven't heard nothing since. But water, yes. Council tax and energy. Council tax is probably the most difficult one to deal with because you're taking money out of criminal mafia pockets, basically. So they don't like it. They don't like it when people stand up and address the facts with them. So they will use any method of deception, fraudulent use of language. You know, they will label you as something you're not, and all these kind of things. You've got to be prepared to realise who you are, and basically. So if you want to do a lean, I'd start on water first and get them out of the way. And then once you're comfortable with that lean, then you can move on to the next subject: council tax, energy, brokers. They're not suppliers, so we need to get out the habit of calling them suppliers. They don't supply you with anything except fraudulent letters. So yeah, that's basically it, Carlo, I think, on that question.
Yeah. For someone that is starting, when they hear us say or talking about establish the foundation and you pick up the claims, can you just go a little bit more, like break that a little bit more for someone that is like, what the hell are they talking about?
So when you get a letter through the door, straight away you look at the bottom and you see it. Regards OVO Group. Well, who the fuck is OVO Group? Who named their son or daughter OVO Group for them to be sending you a letter? There's no one out there called OVO Group. It's a corporation name. And as we know, corporations are dead entities. They can't claim contracts. They can't pick up pens. They can't send letters. Corporations only exist by name only as an active registration. They can't make claims against men and women. Only men and women acting on behalf of that corporation can make claims, and yet they're sending letters and putting OVO Group on the bottom or Birmingham City Council or any of these names. To me, that would instantly raise my suspicions because Birmingham City Council has just wrote a letter to me. Birmingham City Council is a building. It's active registration. It's a name. So that's when we then start to address the fraud straight away. Then we start looking at all the claims that are being made. You, or who is you? The person liable, the occupier of this property. You know, all this language that's being used. How can I put it to you in simpler terms?
It's starting to break down the fiction, isn't it?
Yeah, you break down the fiction. I mean, how many things can you be all at once? Occupier, householder, homeowner, you're liable for this, you know, all this language. You don't even know these people and they just sent you a letter. It's like your next door neighbour sending you a letter saying you're liable to cut my grass, you know, or chop down the tree in my back garden. It's the same thing. You'd laugh at them. You walk past McDonald's and somebody pulls you into McDonald's and says you've got to buy 20 of our cheeseburgers because Ronald McDonald said so. But you've never ever met Ronald McDonald, you never spoke to him, and you might think this is a moot point to make, but these people you've never met in your life, and yet we're listening to these letters that are coming through the door every day and responding to them and setting up direct debits and responding to the accounts that you didn't set up, they set up in your name and said this is your account. Well, when did you formally agree to this account? When did you sign to say that you have full knowledge and understanding of this account? So claims, let's go a little bit on claims. Claims is basically the material evidence, what we need to form a lien, a commercial lien. We can't form a commercial lien without claims. So we have to get claims out of them. And even if you don't get letters and you want to address people like HMRC for stealing out of your salary or your wages, you can send a letter and then you can wait for the minions to respond on behalf of the CEO or director of HMRC or any other company. And you've then got your claim then to form a lien, basically. That's your foundation to a lien. Without them, we can't do anything, unfortunately. So we have to get them claims. And if you're like me and love doing liens, but I've got another one on the go now. Just go and pick on somebody like North Somerset Council. I don't even live in North Somerset, and I seen an idiot on fucking Facebook calling himself a councillor. So I sent him a letter. I got some claims, and now I formally charged him for fraud and malfeasance. It's very easy once you understand the whole basic and fundamental breakdown of the lien, and how and why we standardise them and things like that. It's quite daunting at first, but then you get like an adrenaline rush to do more. Well, I do anyway. I can't speak for everyone, but I enjoy doing liens. It's like an addiction now. It's like a fix for me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. Any more questions, Carla?
Let's see if anyone has any questions so far. Anyone? Yoo-hoo? Well, if anyone
just
has
taking
any
it
questions...
in right now. Just taking it all in right now.
Oh, okay, Paul. I don't know if you want to ask anything specific to Anthony. Anthony was touching on where to start, so I don't know if you want to
I think I came in.
A little bit.
Yeah, that would be great. I came in like, I don't know, about 5 past. So I probably missed the beginning. So yeah, if you want to touch on where to start again, Wayne did share.
Hello.
Yeah, he mutes himself.
No,
working.
I have to hold the button down to keep talking. I must have let the pressure off my thumb. Sorry about that. So yeah, if you can clarify where to start again, that would be great.
What platform is this guy using? Why do you have to hold the button down? You just press the button and it speaks, and you speak.
No, on this one, I've got to hold it. I'm on the phone on Telegram.
Oh, I'm on the phone on Telegram as well. Okay, that's a strange one.
Maybe because I've got my hands-free kitten as well, Anthony.
Oh.
So I'm walking around in a hangar with an extra big airplanes, you see.
Okay, great stuff. Oh, no worries then. What issues have you had with the corporation? Which corporations are bothering you?
I've got, well, you just mentioned council tax, and obviously Carla's told me not to really start with the council, although I've got a summons from them at the minute, and then I'm supposed to be going to their silly courtrooms in November, or later on this month, I should say, since it's November today.
Okay.
They basically, what happened was, I started paying my bill at the start of this year, £185 a month. I got a letter about 3-4 weeks ago saying you owe £117, you're in arrears. So, like an idiot, I called them and said, so why do I owe you the money? She said, well, the first payment you made went to last year's bill because you were behind. Okay. And so I was like, so that was 125, she said, and then it was like, that's only £60 difference for my bill. So you've sent me a letter saying I hold 117. That's nearly twice as much as my calculation. And she's like, well, if you want to continue to pay your £185 a month, you've got to pay the 117 first. I was like, that doesn't even make sense. So that I basically just ended the call. And basically just ended the call with her. And then the next thing I know, I've got the summons through the door. So that was it, really. So I'm just sick of it all, mate. You know, I'll start anywhere, really. I just want to make sure I've got all my I's and T's dotted and crossed, if you know what I mean. Like you guys keep telling us, you know. Just to back up what you said about the water companies, when we moved into this house, I was in there 9 months before I even told anybody, and we were getting water all the time, and they were just saying, "Oh, dear occupier, please let us know if you're living in the address and using the water." And eventually, my quote unquote consciousness kicked in and told me to start, you know, get hold of them. But I guess I'm just reiterating the fact that they can't cut the water off.
No, they can't.
That's all.
They can't cut the water off. It's a source of life. They can't actually, under their own legislation as well, they're not allowed to be cutting the supply of water. They can to businesses, premises, because people don't live in premises. They operate there in a commercial capacity. They can cut the water off there, but private homes, they can't cut the water off because water belongs to no one. It's the source of life, and whatever their excuses are, they cannot cut the water off. They can if there's a flood or something, as a temporary measure, or they're cleaning pipes or something or whatever, maintenance issues, but they can't cut the water off. And I want to reiterate that I've not paid water now for 3 years now. And when you look at the state of our water and the state of the salaries that these people are on, the companies such as Liv Garfield, £4 million a year. I keep repeating this to a lot of people. £4 million.
Wow.
You think I'm joking? If you go look on Google, £4 million a year this woman's on. So are we really paying for water, or are we just funding the lavish lifestyles of these?
Absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree with you.
And if you look at all the stories lately, they're in a lot of trouble now. They've got legal challenges against them because they're dumping raw sewage and stuff like that in the seas. And if you ask them to give you a breakdown of all the chemicals, which they have to under their own legislation, they don't hide it. They give you a whole lengthy list of all these chemicals they're putting in the water. I've got a distiller, and I put all the water in the distiller, and I clean the water up, and you see all the crap that's left behind. They're basically just telling you need to pay us to poison you.
And the smell, Anthony.
Absolutely.
And they wear hazmat suits as well, these people that go in the water to put chemicals in there. They actually wear hazmat suits. Fluoride's using rat poison. I know I'm going off subject.
No, but it's all part of it. It's all part of the issue, isn't it? It's just one big fucking. Oh my god.
Yeah, and same goes with the energy companies and the councils. The councils have got deals with energy companies. All your waste that goes in the bin, they're actually, none of it goes to landfill anymore. It's actually used to produce energy. So all that waste that you've paid for yourself with the fake fiat currency, is actually making £500 million contracts a year with the councils and the energy companies off your waste. So they're double dipping everywhere, basically, with these companies.
Must be nice.
Anthony, let's not forget the real estate that the big business of council. Yeah.
And they're admitting it, aren't they, for funding hotels and all this, failed deals and all this kind of stuff. That's why they're going bankrupt. We know why they're going bankrupt. They're going bankrupt because a lot of people are waking up across the UK, and Birmingham City Council, second city in England, were one of the first to announce it, and now they're playing the blame game with each other. It was so and so, it was so and so. They're just out of control people, funding pensions, lavish lifestyles, yachts, hotels, terrorism. You know, if all our groups understood that all the finances that you give to these people is actually going to fund rockets and warheads and all these kind of things to go and kill innocent people, would you want to be a part of that?
I was in the military. I was in the Air Force for 8 years, brother. I left for that very reason. I don't want to be a part of any of that, you know.
No, that's fine. I don't blame you. It's all bankers' wars, isn't it? It's all part of depopulation agendas and stuff. Now I'm going off subject, but all this illusion that you're given that you're paying for gas, electric, water, council, you're not paying for any of these things. Because they don't supply you with anything. It's just one big racket going on, the double dipping, and just trying to keep you as much in poverty as you can. So you turn towards the private company government to help you and give credit to them, basically.
So,
yeah, Jaffin, Anthony, Japanese there.
Hello, Jaffin. So,
how are you?
Tax. Yeah, Carla's right.
I'm actually walking
Hello.
on the road. Hello, I'm walking on the road.
Okay.
Audible? Hello? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. We can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm walking on the road. You can continue. Sorry.
It's fine. Good to see you, man. Bye.
Yeah, sure.
You still hear me?
Our brother
Yeah,
did the work in India. Okay, so Paul, any other question you have?
Just a quick point to make to the individual that was just speaking. What's your name again? Wayne, is it?
Me?
Who was the guy that I was just talking to?
Paul.
Yeah,
Paul,
brother.
So Carla's right. Council tax is probably the last thing you want to be dealing with. It's probably the one you want to be concentrating on the most. So I'll get the easy things out of the way first, and then address council tax. I wouldn't even entertain their stupid little invites to their private company courts.
So
yeah,
what would you suggest then? I'm sorry, brother, to interrupt. Did you suggest, so the summons, what do I do? Just chuck it in the bin or save it for a later date?
See, you've got material evidence of fraud in your hand. You'll never chuck evidence away. That's evidence, isn't it? If you chuck it away, then you're basically party to wrongdoing as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
So we keep material evidence of fraud. What I do when a letter comes, I instantly get my phone out, take a photo as well in case I just misplaced the letter. So I take a photo always, and then I start a lien as soon as possible. Have you not done a lien yet? Then I take it.
No, brother. No, we're about a week in. We're about a week in catching up with Carla and getting on board with everything. Like I say, so we've got everything crossed and dotted, as they say.
Okay, I know you're doing the Zoom calls and stuff as well.
I will be. Yeah, we're on the we're on a call last week. We missed the role play on Saturday night because I had a bit of a meltdown because of all this stuff. So, yeah, I've been through like when I was living in the States. I got on the UCC stuff, and then I've listened to So I listened to a Baron video yesterday. I don't know if he was with the Angela lady, but he was talking. He was talking about that being a sort of like little. It's kind of true, but it's not true or whatever. It's just leading you down the garden path, innit? So I got out of that anyway. So I'm sort of getting back into it now that these facts and whatnot seem to be finally ironed out from the Barons and you guys' experiences.
Yeah.
So I just need to get the affidavit sent out. I'm assuming at the start.
Well, who are you with in terms of water?
Oh, that's the Trent. You replied to me the other day on the Trent.
Severn Trent. Okay,
yes,
great stuff.
Yeah.
So if you go and look at the Severn Trent document lien that I did, it's in the file section of our groups. That'd be a good place to start. Start a lien on her. Have a read of mine or whoever's that's done a lien on Severn Trent. Start there, mate, and once you get a feel for it, you'll be a lot more confident getting other liens done. Don't jump into the deep end and start just sending liens, or always get your liens checked over if you can, or if you're not confident, ask one of us to check it over for you and stuff like that. Don't deviate away from the format of the lien and start making claims or changing words and stuff like that. It's structured in such a way that we cover all bases and we don't use words like payment or money and stuff like that. So we never ever change the structure of the lien. And it's done that way for a reason, because money doesn't exist and we don't ever get paid for anything, do we? Because there is no money. So that's why we remove these words and keep them off the paper and keep all personal stuff outside of the lien as well. I do all my personal stuff with the CEOs and stuff in email, but the liens we keep professional. And not personal, basically. So,
okay,
yeah. As I say, I've done this a long time now, and I've only had one road individual at my door at the minute for council tax, and that was back in August. We're now in November nearly, and no letters, nothing since.
That's brilliant. And so, just regard to the council tax and the summons, then. So you're saying just hold on to the evidence until I've sort of reached that level to go to war there?
Well, I'd keep all the evidence. I'd start a lien straight away on Severn Trent Water.
Okay.
And once you've built up the confidence in 6 weeks, so by the end of December, you should have a lien done on Severn Trent. And then you can address the matters with the council. Where are you from, by the way?
Yeah, I live just outside of in between Nottingham and Derby.
Oh, I worked in Derby. I used to do the doors down in Derby at the King of Prussia.
All right.
So yeah,
I'm just working at the airport, East Midlands, and I just live down the road at Long Eaton. I don't know if you know it.
I've heard of it. Yeah. You still there?
I'm still here, mate. Yeah, it just mutes itself as soon as I let go, like I say.
Okay, then. So yeah, get a lean started on 7 Trent. Download my lean or pull it up on your computer from the file section. Just type in keywords, Liv Garfield, and it'll come up 7 Trent lean then.
And so I can start that lean before I've sent them the affidavit, and I think, or the way I understood Carla tell me, I can send the affidavit and the first lean together.
That's what we do. When we're starting liens on councils, water, gas, electric, we send the affidavit in the first week with the lien. And what I put in my lien is, in the first week lien, I put a paragraph in basically stating you've been served a lien as of this date, an affidavit as of this date, on the same date as week 1 of the lien. So when you send it, they can't deny they never received it because email is recorded delivery anyway. Once it don't bounce back, state and time stamped, it's email received and it's on them then, basically.
Got you.
Get their minions to jump in, who are customer facing apparently, but I've never faced any of them in my life. So, bit of a lie there, isn't it? But yeah, we send the affidavit week 1 of the lien in the first week, and then we go from there. We wait 7 days. 6-week process, and you'll see that the 6 weeks just flies by. You know what I mean? Set yourself a time on the 7th day of each week, and to sit down, copy and paste. Week 2 and week 3 is the same as week 1. Week 4 is your opportunity to resolve. Week 5 is your easiest one, which is your notice of default, and then you've got week 6, which goes on the top of week 1, which is your affidavit of truth, statement of fact. And your notifications list goes on the bottom. And we've got FAQs anyway on our groups that tells you how to format a lien.
So just to clarify that last week 6, you're saying you send week 1 again.
So week 1 in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and week 6 goes on top of week 1.
Okay.
Because week 1 is your affidavit of truth and statement of fact and material evidence. Material evidence, which is a letter, and material evidence is week 1, week 2, week 3, and then your opportunity to resolve and notice default and your notifications lists goes at the bottom. The easiest way to understand that is just pull up your FAQs and pull up any affidavit, any lien from the file section.
Okay.
You'll see week 1, and you'll see week 6 is dated 6 weeks later from week 1. So week 6 goes on the top, and then week 1 goes underneath week 6, and week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5.
Got you. I understand.
See what I'm saying, yeah?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Thank you.
No, not a problem. Any more questions?
No, man, I'll stick with that for now. I appreciate that.
But yeah,
sorry
keep all letters, mate.
Repeating all the time. I'll definitely be keeping them. I can't stand these guys. Oh my god.
And you'll see, mate. I've been so happy in the last 2 years. Not funding criminal, not because I've got more fake bullshit money in my pocket. It's just because I'm not fucking funding criminals. I'm not giving them that lifestyle anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'm not
absolutely
being party to their fraud, and I make it clear in personal emails I send to these idiots. I'm not being party to your fraud. And he who asserts must prove. Do you know what I'm saying? And all these claimants never prove any of their claims. Do you know what I'm saying? So clearly you're a fraudster. Then he who fails to disagree agrees by default. If there's no disagreement in place, then there's an agreement by default, isn't there? See what I'm saying?
I hear you. Yeah, I completely get you.
So yeah. Any more questions?
I think it's important to to make things clear on how people can when you are starting, if you have a lot of things going on all at once, and I know that this will happen once you start to open the Pandora box, right? You have to get to the point of putting the hat of your attorney general. So you lay everything on the table, and if your partner is with you, better. You lay everything on the table and you go for through the motions with priority. Okay, like Anthony was saying, start with things that are small so you can get the feeling of your own power. Because if you start with something that is big, the ones that you are not so comfortable yet, you will get scared when they reply to you.
I hear you.
Yeah, so it's
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because I mean, and a lot of this also involves you doing research. You know, like go start reading things that are boring and heavy, but you need to start reading, you know, and everything is on their website, thegovernment.uk. You know, you can go start reading those things, pull up some of the things that they have there, which I find it very interesting. So you start practicing in your house to clarify your own mind, because the problems is your mind that creates them. You know, and the fear is your mind that is creating all of that. But if you
Definitely.
can settle your mind and telling, no, listen, I've read it, it's here. It's not me inventing, it's not others inventing. You know, I know for a fact that this is how it works. So if this is how it works and I identify the wrong, it's my honor and my duty to correct it. You know, so if you go from this state, instead of going from the state of rage and I want to stop and I hate the fuckers and whatever you, yeah, it will come a time that you get scared and probably you will back away because you are not certain, because you didn't do the work like on cleaning your mind and preparing your mind to acknowledge the facts. Yeah, makes sense.
Absolutely.
Don't know if you want to add something else, Anthony?
Yeah, and just remember, all these letters that you receive, it doesn't matter who they're from, they're all based on fraud. Not just fraud, but they're also based on fear. Intimidation, blackmail, coercion. If you don't do this, we'll do that, you know, the usual kind of stuff. They're all based on fear and intimidation, as you can see jumping off the page at you. See what I'm saying?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, I'm well. Yeah, 100%.
And that's what keeps people paying into this system.
Yeah, people can't get their head around that there's another way.
Say again?
People can't understand that there's another way around it. You know, that it's just, you know, they're just zombied into it, aren't they? Well, that's the way it is. That's what my dad says. Oh, it's just the way it is. That's what you've got to do. No, why? Who said so?
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately for our older generations, they're the most brainwashed.
Definitely.
But as time goes by, the media is dying now because kids are coming into generations with smartphones and tablets, stuff like that, that they don't see a use for media. So media is actually dying anyway. So it's kind of a good thing, but it's also a bad thing as well because they're driven by climate change agendas and all this crap. And I see these younger generations fucking on the streets fighting for their rights and all this climate change and LGBTQ and all these things that have been set up. People believing it's for them. It's not. It's for the system that set up these things on purpose. Keep division in place, stuff like that.
Yeah, distraction after distraction.
Yeah, invisible threats, climate change, COVID-19, terrorism, whatever it is, keep you in fear. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
You forgot about the food crisis.
Oh, that food crisis I'm still waiting for, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
People are too busy fighting over toilet rolls to notice what's really going on, aren't they? It's so stupid people are, unfortunately.
You know, that's what, I don't know if you listen to Jason with the Archaics and the whole simulation, the NPCs, not that I'm trying to push that here by any means, but to me, you go out in quote unquote public or whatever, and you see all these, and you're just like, they can't be real people, they can't be real humans, they can't be real living beings inside the shell. You know, the decisions they're making, it just doesn't add up. You know, what they're doing, how they're acting, all of that.
Well, it's that word again, acting. They're not real, are they? Actors are not real anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what the system thrives off, all this fake, false reality and illusions. Keeps us all playing into their hands, fighting with each other about whose story is the best, who's got the best conspiracy theory and all that. And it's all done by design, because once we're all divided, the system thrives, doesn't it? You know.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Any more questions?
Let's see. Amanda, any questions?
Hi guys.
Hello.
I'm only here for a short while because I have to head to work in like literally now. So I just wanted to listen in while I got the chance.
Okay.
But I think
fantastic.
it might be a good idea to, have sometimes some in the afternoon. Maybe more people can join.
Yeah, great stuff. I'll bear that in mind, no problem.
Yeah. No, I'm dealing with electricity and I have been for the last year and a half. They're now applying for a court warrant. So
Who are?
they're applying for a court warrant to enter my property to fit in a prepay meter.
Oh, I thought all that stopped. I thought it wasn't allowed to do that.
No way. I leaned all of them and now I've started leaning the debt resolutions manager. So now they're applying. It was sent to a debt control agency. They sent it back. They closed my file once I sent them the affidavit and did a lien on their directors. Yeah, they're going to apply for a warrant and they'll try and put in a prepay meter. So that's where I'm at.
Well, this is where now we all need to get together. People in your local area, stand outside your house and basically get them to fuck off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'll fight them as long as I can, as much as I can. So.
It's always a tough one, isn't it? With their bullying. Oh,
Flipping bully boys.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to come to an end at some point anyway, isn't it? It's not going to continue any much longer because the country's rising up, and I see all these videos on YouTube and stuff like that, people standing up to these tyrants outside their houses, and they back down in the end. So people are rising up, and that's what we've got to hope that more and more people wake up and quickly put an end to this nightmare, basically.
Have any of you guys been fighting the mortgage in Barclays or, all these lenders? Anybody been successful in that manner? Sorry to interrupt, Amanda.
No, I haven't.
No problem.
Yeah, but not with the affidavit. And we put every bit of piece of paper in place to prove it was fraud and we were selling. Now, if we didn't put the paperwork in at the last minute because I had a friend who worked within that sort of system and went, if you do this, you will start a fraud investigation and everything will be frozen and you will not be able to sell the place. They will just drag it out. So if you're in that position and you're not going to move and you're going to stay there forever, fine. But if you're thinking of moving and you want to sell, I'd probably not. So that's our experience from it. All the paperwork was in place.
That's probably the biggest one, wasn't there? A lady in Australia, she lost her house.
Yeah, well, if you're basically claiming fraud, so suddenly a fraud investigation opens and they'll just drag that out and you won't be able to sell and you won't get your money out of it or to go and do whatever or buy another. You'll be stuck.
Carla had mentioned that some guys had sold the house and then started that process.
Yeah, well, get on the right side of the money, basically.
Got you.
Because what will happen is, I mean, you can sell and go through the process, and you can, if you can, try and find a solicitor that will do an accrue account to put that money in that you supposedly owe, and if they can prove that you do owe it, then the solicitor signs it over, and if they can't, then you get it. But you try finding a solicitor who will get on board with that.
Well, solicitors are prostitutes, aren't they?
exactly. So
Soliciting's a crime, I heard, but yet you've got solicitors screwing people for money. It doesn't make sense, does it?
So I'd avoid, if you're trying to sell and you want to get the money out, I would avoid making any sort of claim that it's a fraud, because I think you'll just come unstuck.
I was just for the future. Obviously, I'm not there yet, but just out of interest, really. So it's good information either way. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
And like I said, we didn't do with the affidavit route. We were already tied into a trust and did everything through trust. So I can only come from the side of it was done via a trust that they couldn't prove that it was owed.
Fair enough. Okay.
But I think you would probably come across the same with an affidavit. If you're calling it out, you open a fraud case.
And then you get fraudsters investigating themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, with the facts and with the knowledge comes great responsibility. And the great responsibility lays on what do you do now? Now that you know the truth, now that you know that no man or woman can own anything, what are you going to do about it? How do you pretend? How do you pretend to go on your life, and turning your face around where you know that is all frauds? You can't. So you need to start taking action. And that when we say people to take action, we are not saying for people to go and do this or do that. No. You are the one who needs to understand that you know the truth. What are you going to do about it? Because I can I can stop funding the terrorists. Yeah, I can stop funding everywhere I can. I will stop funding them, right? At this point, my straw man is, he has nothing, so he's free already. Okay, but the straw man that has, or your legal embodiment that has things, of course, if you're going to open the Pandora box, they will come at you to make your straw men suffer, because they know if they it's like those dolls that is used in voodoo, right? That's exactly what they are doing. They're using your straw man. Yeah, they're using your straw man to cause you pain because they know that you are attached to.
Absolutely right. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that the best thing we have to do for ourselves, and because we want to live, okay, let me live. I just want to live. Leave me alone. Okay, so do things for those people to leave you alone. You have nothing to do whatsoever with their fraudulent mechanism that they created, God knows for what. Yeah. And you just go and stop in correcting as you go along, and try not to be too emotional with things, because that's where they will come after you. If you are too I've always had this thing with me, which is I will not fight you. Forget it. I will not fight you whatsoever, because I know that I am more than this here that is presented. I am not my car. I am not my house. I don't have a car. I don't have a house. I use it. If I don't use this one, I will go and use another one, because it's not the end of me. So when people start to make peace with that, you stop fighting. That's why every time people say, oh, but we need to fight them. No, you don't. Sometimes the best move is not to play at all. So learn to see the things as they are. And if you have to do something, you do it, but because you do it for you and not because you want to inflict some type of pain or you want justice on the other side. Because every time you go with that position that you want the other side to feel this or that, you are only hurting yourself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I get you.
Yeah, I do my leans not because of the others. I don't care about them. I do them for me because I want to have my peace of mind. I want my brain to leave me the fuck alone. I don't want my brain to start creating this hypothetical situations where he gets me in fear. I don't want that. I do that to settle my brain. So now I am working on this. So what now? Oh, but the guys will come. Yeah, let them come. We show them the paper. So what next? You see? And every time you start having this inner dialogue with your mind, you will see that your mind will settle. Your mind will start like, oh, we better do this then. Yes,
Right.
let's go and do it. You
Got
see?
you. Yeah, that's the feeling. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've still got a bit of animosity or whatever, but I feel like once we get more comfortable with the process, like you say, and building up that experience, that sort of part of the ego will diminish because you know you're absolutely right in your power, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, once you start appealing and begging and protesting and fighting and arguing and complaining, doing all of these things, you're admitting by default you've got a master. They're all actions of children, aren't they? We don't do any of these things, appealing,
Right.
begging, protesting, arguing, complaining. You know, all this stuff, it's all, you're admitting you've got a master. And you're the highest authority, aren't you? So all these idiots out on the streets protesting, who are you protesting to? Do you know what I'm saying? Who are you protesting
Absolutely,
to?
yeah.
You're just giving credit to a private company to rule over you and admitting by default you're some kind of slave. But you're the highest authority. That's why we don't do any of these things. They're all actions of children, aren't they? A lot of people, unfortunately, they never grow up. They go out on the streets protesting over their stupid rights, waving flags and banners. What does it achieve? It's all done on a Saturday as well, when all the company directors of the government are at home drinking wine and eating cheese, laughing at them. So what are you achieving by doing that? The best form of protest is non-protest, isn't it? Non-compliance. That's the best
Absolutely.
protest.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah.
Okay, any more questions?
I've got a friend that's just messaged me about the affidavit. If I could share that question from him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, he's saying it's contradicting itself, but I've tried to explain it to him on a few messages, but he's saying David said the law doesn't exist, but the opening sentence of the affidavit is entering into equity law language. So again, he's saying he's not an expert by any means. He's just asking from where he's at, and then he says also by even having this document, surely you're giving the courts an opportunity or power to act / speak on the matter. Obviously,
no, we're not. No, we're not. Because we haven't gone to the courts to get that document signed, have we? It's agreed to by default by the people that failed to rebut it. So no, it's not giving any courts any authority, is it? Because we never went to court in the first place.
Got you. I'll share that with him. Thank you.
It was served on all 657 directors calling themselves MPs of 18 parliaments and governments PLC. They were given 28 days to rebut it on a point-by-point basis or just 1 point. And not one of them did. They sat in silence. Well, silence gives agreement. Silence gives consent, doesn't it? And we put that on the bottom of all our liens. Your silence gives agreement to what we've laid out in this document. And not one of them rebutted it. And that's how it became a formal agreement to the facts.
Right.
That's why it's called an affidavit of truth and statement of fact, not just an affidavit of truth. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do. I shouldn't call you sir, though. Sorry about that.
You are using their weapons against them.
Yeah, this is what I was trying to tell him.
Yeah, but with a difference. Ours has a court of records. Theirs doesn't. Ours has an affidavit stating the facts. Theirs doesn't. Yeah?
Yes, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just typing to him while you're telling me.
And while he's saying that it's equity law, where is it, the equity law? What phrase does he pertain that is referring to equity law?
I'll ask him. I think he's trying to say it's the first line, but I didn't tell him that the first 2 pages were the decree. So I've said, look, that the first 2 pages of the decree, and the affidavit starts on the 3rd page. So he's not getting confused.
Yeah, even in the decree, there is nothing resembling to equity law.
Again, that's what he's saying. He's no expert. I mean, he's gone down this rabbit hole a tiny bit a couple of years ago himself. So he's got like an idea of what's what. But obviously,
well, just let him know that this document is non-judicial and prejudicial. See if he tries to figure that one out.
Non-judicial
and prejudicial.
Okay, thank you. Let me type that down.
Yeah. See if you can figure that one out. Anyone? Any questions?
You got to remember, guys, if this didn't work, this affidavit of truth, statement of fact didn't work, why have we had people resigning? We had a police officer, Lisa Lever, actually resigned, jumped ship after she was served a commercial leave. She resigned from her job. And there's people that have been stepping down from all walks of life from there. I mean, look at what Mike Watson did to all the EDF directors. When he served all the directors at EDF, they all stepped down one by one, all in a row. Why would they do that? These people on all this so-called fake money a year, why would all the EDF directors step down when they were served commercial leaves of one company? Because they know. Do you know what I'm saying? So it does work. People are resigning, jumping ship. And I've seen evidence of that a lot lately. Companies, Equita directors resigning, and all other companies lately, and people are replacing them. So it does work. The document does work. And I've got first-hand knowledge of Severn Trent as well. I've got 2 documents where Severn Trent sent 2 different debt collectors after me, and one after the other, after serving final liens, Moorcroft and Advantis, they both returned the matter back to Severn Trent to close the account.
Wow.
So, yeah, because they're only chasing tiny debts as well, it's not worth the hassle. So they just close the matter and turn it back to Severn Trent. And now Severn Trent send me stupid letters. They haven't sent me one for a while, threatening to either pass it to a debt collector or what was the other one? I'll put a mark on my credit file, which they've done, and I don't really care about credit files anyway. So nothing really changed, has it? Still getting water. Yeah, I can put them 2 letters in the group. I already have, I think, in a diverting chat group, Advantis and Moorcroft, evidencing that they returned the matter back to Severn Trent. Still there, guys?
Mate. Yeah, I'm still here, mate. I'm just typing to my friend there. He's
okay.
Yeah, I'm like I say, it goes on mute on its own, so I'm still here listening. And yeah, if you put anything in the group would help, mate. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll pop them in the group after this call.
It's very hard, and I think we all have been there. When you know and you want to like try to tell and talk to people that are not aware of this, and they will come at you with their background of things that they learn along the way. You know, I would highly suggest that people, if you can, don't do it. Don't until you can be sure on your facts. Try to only speak with people that are on the affidavit, Because otherwise, the fears from the others and the insecurities from the others will jump inside of you. And it creates doubt. Okay, when I started with the affidavit, I eliminated every single source of info around me. Okay, I stick to that motherfucker. I mean, I did stick with it. I didn't want to hear about anything. I didn't want to know about anything until I was really, really comfortable of understanding what I was talking about, because it had to make sense in my head. I had to break it down really into pieces until I constructed back again to my own way of feeling it, to my own way of speaking about it. And the first time I did was with a guy that was here visiting us at the time, and he was he was our lawyer in Portugal. And when I sat with him at the table, I started to have a normal talk, but I was eager to pull some stuff out of him. So I started making questions, and I started to say, okay, funny fact, there is a conflict of interest from the get-go between the both parties in a trial and the judge. And he goes like, what do you mean? And I said, well, who they did their oath to. And he stopped, he looked at me, and he went, I could clearly see in his head that he was like, uh-oh, you know? And the talk went on. I pulled out the affidavit. I showed him. The only thing he could tell me was, this doesn't work in Portugal. This doesn't work in Portugal. But he could not tell me why. Because I asked him, why doesn't it? Because the claim is the same everywhere around the world where they make a claim that there is a government. So why doesn't this work? And he can only tell me, because the law here it's this and the law there it's that. And well, we part our ways until now. We no longer speak. You know, so this will happen because people don't want to be around you. People will not want to hear what you have to say, which is another effect of the affidavit. But in a sense is good, because you are getting rid of all that shit. You know, all that talk that people talk, jibba jabba all day long. But when you ask them for the material evidence of the claims that they are making, they run away from you. And I mean, there are people like Dave Kingswood. Yeah, he never did a lien in his life. Never, ever, ever he did a lien in his life. Never, ever, ever he served the affidavit. But he's still here. And if you speak with him, if you see him speaking, you will understand. And he was the one that was with Baron David Ward till the end. He was the one who took the body out of the hospital with the power of attorney that Baron David Wood left him with. Yeah. So, I mean, when people say, does this work? I mean, I don't know where you're coming from. What do you mean work? It's not the paper that is going to work ever. It's you. It's the way you are opening your eyes and perceiving that we are in a world of fraud. Either you will agree and continue to be a fraudster as the ones that you now know that they are committing, or will you stop and correct?
I'm not worried about people not talking to me. That's already happened for years since all the other things I've come across and shared with them. You know, in this bullshit reality. So this is nothing. It's more power for me and my family. That's the way I see it. You know, in the sense of the spiritual powers. You know what I mean, and not being fucking bent over with the pants down and stuff. Did that go through? Did you hear me?
Yeah, we heard you. Yeah.
Okay,
well,
cool.
it influences. When you are not certain yet of your own standing, it influences, especially the doubts. Other people are really good of throwing their doubts on you. You know?
Absolutely. Projecting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Okay, let's move on then. Noble Warrior, hi there. Noble Warrior. No, it's not there. Marco.
I can hear you.
You can hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Now it's good, yeah. Is there any question you would like to ask?
Not exactly. Every time I listen to you, I learn something. So that is what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Thank you for
You're welcome.
the wealth of knowledge that you guys share. Learning every time, working on the affidavit. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect.
No worries, mate.
Okay. Jackie. Hello? Okay, so if anyone has any questions, you guys can interrupt us anytime. I think I'm going to move along so we can have as much out of Anthony as possible. So we already saw that how to where to start and when to start. Yeah. So in your view, what do you see? I know that this. Well, I thought about that as well. I thought that this was like a numbers game, right? But in your view, what is it that you see that will be like the flipping point, or could be the flipping point for people to start empowering themselves and taking action? Anthony?
Well, it's already here, isn't it? The tipping point's already here. You know, the precipice has been reached. It's just people finding their backbone and spines. And there's a lot of talk in the mainstream media of energy bills going up again and this going up. We've got to bail out the councils because of their going bankrupt, stuff like that. We've got to pick up the bill, as they call it. There's got to be something that is got to set people off and say, you know what, fuck this, enough is enough now. I'm getting sick and tired of you lot taking the piss. There's got to be a point, you know, and I think we're reaching the boiling point already. With the Ukraine bullshit and fucking Israel bullshit, you know, taxpayer, another word, funding all these things, energy bills, funding these things as well. We're already at the tipping point anyway, and a lot more people are standing up, and I'm seeing it evidence on YouTube, stuff like that, and more people are standing outside their houses. In big crowds, getting rid of the energy goons and mortgage fraud goons as well. I already see it. The tipping point's already here. I see a lot more people coming on board in the groups as well, just wanting to get out of this system, basically. And a lot of people are. It's going to take time. This is a centuries-old system, isn't it? I'm not just going to go without a fight, but it's going to take time. But once we all start collectively, such as example, emailing these CEOs and directors en masse and telling them we know what's going on, your time's up, buddy, basically. That's when the pressure will really hit these people and they will start to step down and resign. You just got to be patient, but the system is collapsing. You know, it's got to collapse if we're going to form a new world, but we've got to stop paying into it and stop funding it, stop putting our interest in it and giving it credit to exist. People are going to moan about this, that and the other, but still go home and pay their council tax. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about people in the streets protesting about this and about that, but you're still going home and paying council tax, TV licence and all this nonsense. You've got to end it completely. You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You've got to be completely out. So I'm saying, but the tipping point's already here, Carl. It's been here for a while now. And people are fighting back, and the system knows this now. And that's why we're seeing a lot of bankruptcies and people resigning and stuff like that. And I think I'm not saying it's 100% down to us and our work, but it's partly the reason. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's that question answered.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are other situations or other ways that people can start doing like with the affidavit. What would you suggest that people start doing? Like if they don't want to do a lien, for example, right? If they want to go and start doing a lien, what other ways can people go and educate themselves in a sense? And what can they do, like to the fellow man or woman?
Well, that's a tough one. Because there's many avenues that people want to go down, and I'm not stopping them from doing that. I'm not saying what's right or what's wrong. You know, it's up to people what they want to do at the end of the day. My personal experience, I'm happy with the process that I do. But in terms of knowledge, if you've got the knowledge but you don't act upon it, but at least utilize it and share it with other people so they can act upon it. You know what I mean? If you're not comfortable with acting upon the knowledge that we give you, at least pass it on to others. At least share the affidavit with others and the liens and stuff like that. At least, you know, put it out there. Wake another person up, basically, you know. Knowledge is power, isn't it? Give power to someone else if you don't feel comfortable, you know, doing what we do. You yourself, basically. Let someone else benefit from it. But I wouldn't deviate from what we're doing, going down other routes. It's totally your choice what route you want to go down. But I've been down all these routes of common law and Magna Carta and all this other crap. And they're just rabbit holes put there for you on purpose, so you go chasing your tail and coming back to the same thing. So yeah, they don't work, in my humble opinion. And common law courts, I registered on companies' houses, businesses selling mugs and shit like that. So it's suspicious in itself, really, isn't it?
What is it that you have to say to the people that tell us that? What is it that the liens or the affidavit did for you in your real life? And what is the what is it? I had this question being prompted to me last week. Can you go and share your results, your successes? Yeah, that's the key word. Can you share your successes with others so others can start doing? So what would you say to someone that asks you that, Anthony?
Well, from a lien perspective, what do I get out of a lien? Well, I get a formal agreement. I establish the facts. I get full disclosure of what's really going on. And I get a formal agreement from fraudsters that they're fraudsters and criminals. So that's what I get out of a lien. And we're creating brand new legal tender, aren't we, as well, at the end of the day. So what do I get out of a lien? Do I get satisfaction? Well, yes. You know, all this fake currency and all this bullshit that we're forced to use, I can put to other uses, you know. Treat my daughter and stuff like that. I don't need to be funding these terrorists and warmongers and criminals. So what do I get out of it? I get out of not funding criminals and terrorists, you know. So yeah, I get a lot of satisfaction out of that. What else? What was the question? How can I share my successes?
Yeah. Well, the other part of the question is, can you share your success so I can see, and then I decide if I'm going to do it or not? Basically,
absolutely.
Yeah, go and do it for me, and if nothing happens to you, I can go and do it as well. Basically.
Well, I'm proof nothing good happened to me, aren't I? And I can share my successes as I do every day. I mean, I share all my correspondence that I sent to these idiots. I share all the correspondence I get back, including the closing of accounts and returning them back to the original claimants. Yeah, just put it out there. It empowers people, doesn't it? You know, it's an empowerment tool for others. They see that this guy's having success. I mean, success, it's born out of individual, how an individual deals with things as well, isn't it? How they carry themselves. You know, it's not always down to other people's successes, which ultimately means you're going to have success. It's how you carry yourself, how you manifest things, how positive you can be in a situation. If you start having negative thoughts and start thinking this and thinking that, then you're just going to manifest it into your reality anyway, aren't you? So, but I can only base my successes on my own experiences as well. Doesn't mean to say everybody else would have the same successes I would have, but people do have the same similar successes as I do because they follow the same pattern that I am, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's just how you carry yourself, the attitude you carry in life, your positiveness, your strength. If you start to display your weaknesses to these people, they will exploit that, you know. So strength, weakness, opportunities and threats. You know what I mean? These systems use these things, so we should use these things against the systems as well. So what I'm saying, so we can exploit their weaknesses and remain strong ourselves, but we don't allow them to exploit our weaknesses. Remain strong always, remain in our honour, remain in sincerity, and don't do anything that they do. So I'm saying, be good all the time, carry yourself in a positive light, and be a good role model, teacher, coach, expert to other people, basically. So yeah, there you go.
Let's see if Scott comes up with another good question. Hey there, Scott. What questions do you have so Anthony can answer for us? I think Scott is having troubles with his internet. Let's ask Amanda. Amanda? Yeah.
I'm sorry, Carla. I'm driving to work here.
Oh, okay. Do you have any question for Anthony?
Not at the moment, Carla. Thank you.
Okay. All good.
What time are we on anyway?
We are at one. What you asked the hour?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1:15 at the moment.
Okay, I'm going to try and get off about 2 o'clock. Is that all right?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Florbella, do you have any question for Anthony?
No, not really. Hello, everyone. No,
Hello.
all good. It's always lovely to hear Anthony's perspective and experience. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I have another one then, if no one has any questions. What would you say to someone that is telling you that, yeah, I've sent the affidavit and nothing changed?
Well, what would I say to that? Well, criminals don't stop being criminals, do they? They're going to get white flags of surrender. They're going to come knocking on your door. You know, I give up. You're right. You know, I'm not a criminal. I'm a criminal. I'm not going to carry on being a criminal now that you sent me this. Again, it's based on your perspective and how you carry yourself. Just because you sent an affidavit for the first time doesn't mean you're going to get some kind of positive response. This old age system, it exists purely because he's gotten away with striking fear into people, threatening people, coercing and blackmailing people, you know, using fraudulent conveyance and language and all sorts. So I wouldn't expect that they're just going to start shaking their hands and apologising to you and reimbursing you for what they stole off you and stuff like that. It's the same as HMRC. When you formally charge them, they're not just going to refund you by way of a cheque of all the money they've stolen off you. It doesn't work like that. You just got to remain positive at all times. And just because I've done 21 liens doesn't mean absolutely everything's changed for me. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way I've dealt with things compared to other people. You're not always going to get 100% out of everything. It's not how life works, is it? You've got to take the good with the bad, haven't you, I suppose? So, yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Let's see. Momo. Oh, Scott is here.
I have a question.
Oh, he has a question.
I'm going now. Bye.
And if I create a lien, when can I get the cash?
Go and sell it on the town hall steps if you like, Scott. When can you get the cash? Well, if you're having that attitude, mate, then well, what can I say? It's not about getting the cash, is it? Do you know what I mean? I mean, what cash? We haven't actually established the brand new legal tender yet, have we? So, what cash are we talking about?
Okay, then. So, what's the point in me doing a lien?
Well, you establish it's a court of record, isn't it? It's a security, isn't it?
Mate, love it.
You still there? I think you're breaking up. I don't know if you're breaking up to everybody else.
Can you hear me? It's a terrible line, my end, Anthony. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
Just some of the many questions I keep getting asked. That's all, Anthony.
Yeah, I know. I get them all the time myself, Scott. But I know 100% you can answer them a lot better than me when it comes to explaining what a lien is and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, a lien is the only form of currency that we have. Yeah, really. Yeah. The currencies that we use every day don't belong to us. They were created by somebody else for us to use.
Yeah.
There is no money. No, there is no money. There is no money. Yes, there's only debt and credit in their system. So who creates the debt and who creates the credit? Well, debt and credit are the same thing, mate, as we know. And it's us, the men and women, that create the debt and the credit. But they don't tell us that. They don't tell us that. They keep that for themselves.
Yep.
I heard someone saying the other day on a video, I've got a lien against your boss. He owes me 600 million quid. And I thought, you don't know what you're talking about. The boss doesn't owe you anything. The fucking debt is fucking, it's there, he's paid it. That's what the lien is. The lien takes care of the fact that there is no money. So it's just an agreement to a future debt, isn't it? And it can only ever be a future debt because there's no money right now.
Exactly, yeah.
So, what's the point in me doing it then? If I'm not going to get paid, what's the point? That's the other question I get asked a lot, Anthony. If I'm not going to get the money, the millions and millions of pounds, what's the point in me doing it?
Well, what's the point in aiding and abetting fraud as well?
Well, this is the problem, aren't you? This is the thing. Yeah, this is it, mate. This is what people forget. So, if there's no money, and if there's no government, and if there's no authority and no law, so that means that these people purporting to be the law and the authority and this and that and the other, well, they're committing fraud.
Exactly, yeah.
Malfeasance. So, at what point in human history have people put this fraud onto the public record?
Yeah, exactly.
It's never ever happened, has it?
No.
So now with in perpetuity, someone once told me, I'm not a massive expert on the internet and how it works, but someone once told me now those liens are on the internet, that they'll always be there forever and a day. You can't ever remove them. It's just there. So while ever the internet's there, I'll always have a record of the crimes committed against me. I can't. If an individual doesn't want to report the crimes against him or her, it's not up to me to report them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so each victim of this crime must do his or her own due diligence by putting it on record.
Yep, and having a right to redress.
Well, the right to redress, I mean, what is a right?
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I choose the right to redress. Everyone has that right, but you don't have to choose that right if you don't want to.
Mm.
If you're happy to be shit on from a great height all of your life, then that's what you choose to do. But I choose this right because I'm the victim and I get to choose. I get to choose what rights that I claim and what I don't claim. But yeah, they're the two main questions, Anthony, that I get asked.
Well, if we don't act upon wrongdoing, as we've highlighted in our own liens, then we become part of that wrongdoing by default because we're looking the other way and we're allowing it, aren't we? So either you can be part of wrongdoing or you can do something to remedy the wrongdoing and stop it from happening against you as an individual. We can all say, what's the point in doing this? What's the point in doing that? Or what's the point in aiding and abetting terrorists and criminals? Might as well just be one yourself, mightn't you? So, yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah. Cheers for that, mate. Great answer.
Cheers,
I
Scotland.
have another question. For the people that are moving with the affidavit and go forward with the affidavit, do you think it's reasonable for them to be putting a tip jar, or any kind of contribution into the equation?
I seen this the other day. I'm not going to start naming names. I don't like embarrassing individuals. I seen that post the other day, and I was dismayed by it because it's not something we do. People that set up events, the individual that sets up the events, just generally funds that event out of their own pocket. We don't ask for anybody else to contribute or anything like that, or go halves, or start putting glass jars down with holes in lids to put money in. We don't do any of these things. It's not the way we carry ourselves. We've never done that since we've been doing the workshops. I don't know why this individual's chosen to do that. But to me, it's just, again, it's just sending a bad message, because we've always said in our groups we don't charge for absolutely anything. And having tip jars on counters, I wholly don't agree with that. I have had this individual messaging me, in all due respect, that she's been quite nice and polite about setting up events and stuff like that. And I did say that I would attend the event in York, possibly next year after my baby's born and stuff. But nothing was mentioned about tip jars and stuff like that. And then when I seen that advert go up on social media sites, it's just, I don't know what to say. I honestly don't. But no, I don't recommend tip jars and any form of currency where you're asking people to pay or anything like that. No, it's not what we do. Our groups are there entirely for free. We don't ask anybody for nothing. And when people start doing things for absolutely nothing and for free, they're the one you want to keep on your side. When you've got people profiting from these things, and I'm just speaking on a generalisation here, that you've got to watch out for these people. And I'll use an example like Stacey Wilkinson over on Telegram, where she's telling people they can claim all their money back through banks, commit fraud themselves, and she's profiting from it as well. It's just you've got to watch out for these people. You've got to land people into a lot of trouble. And that's just reference to Stacey Wilkinson. But no, we don't charge ever for any of our work. It's not what Baron David Ward did. The guy lived in a caravan. He asked for nothing. He kept his pride intact, and he went all the way. He had his whole house stolen off him, and he still he asked for nothing. He asked for nothing of no one, and that's the legacy we carry forward with Baron David Ward. So yeah, that's just my point on that. But no, I don't agree with tip jars and stuff. So yeah, that's just my point, Carla.
We had.
Shall I stand in just to be the devil's advocate here?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Because I am in agreement with what's just been said, but people have to get there. They have fuel. They have to rent a venue. How does that get covered? I know you said it just comes out of your own pocket. Why should why should that individual or individuals, I'm not sure, all pay out for their fuel and to pay for a venue when they're not charging for their time, but they're wanting to just cover their expenses so that they can get the information out?
Well,
what's the solution? What is the solution so that people can carry on?
That. Free fucking Zoom calls, free Zoom calls. I put on free Zoom calls for 2 years.
Well, there is that.
To cover this eventuality, right? Because not everybody can afford to get there, so I put free Zooms on. Yeah,
that's cool, but that doesn't.
Some of us have been doing this for fucking years and years and years. Anybody with their hand out, give them a wide berth. Anybody.
I'm with you on that, but not everybody wants the live Zoom. Some people want to go to a venue and get people together in a community.
Right, well, so the people
I did, and Anthony did, and we never asked for a penny. Scott came all the way 5 hours from the north to the south. He never asked for a penny.
I've been traveling the fucking country for 5 or 6 years, and ask him how on earth can I present you with an affidavit proving there's no fucking money, but yet I've got my hand out looking for donations and tips? You've got to be having a fucking laugh. It's an absolute joke. I don't know who's done it, but they are no longer associated with my group. Anybody with their hand out, I don't care who it is. There are free applications that we can use online now that we don't have to have those particular meetings if people are that skint. The idea of having local meetings is for local people to pay for the venue, so it's not just one person. And the admins will. I've travelled over 5,000 miles just this year. So anybody with an hand out,
we do it with honor.
With honor, dignity.
Honor, dignity. And the best thing we can exchange is us. We had when we came here to the south, I told everybody, if you want to come and have something to eat, just bring some. Each one of you can bring something, and we all can share something that you've made, because ultimately that's what we have to share with each other. You know, having a good meal that we all prepared because we knew that we are going to be with people that we want to be with, you know, and we are sharing a meal. Not a tip jar, you know. What is that going to affect me? Nothing.
I've never agreed with charging for information anyway. I mean, information should always be free. We've got brains. We should be able to educate ourselves without being charged for it. So I don't agree with all these things, people charging for information. Well, where did they get the information from? Somebody else. And yet people on a generalisation again are somewhat making profit. I mean, I travelled all the way to Weston-super-Mare. Scott drove 5 hours. I don't ask a penny from no one. Kindly, the guy that set up that venue, he kindly paid it himself, even though I offered, because it was my idea to set up the event. He said, no, it's a privilege to come here and have your admin speak, and he actually funded it out of his own pocket. It was only 45 quid, but still, you know.
This is the people that we want to be next to.
Yeah. It's a shame, really, that we should have to charge people for information. I mean,
well,
it should never be like that.
It's not so much the information that's being charged for; it's the renting of a venue. So,
the rental of a venue? Maximum 1,500 quid. Yeah.
No, a venue, you can pay less than 100 quid for a venue. I rent venues.
So what's the tip? The tip jar suggests to me that it's for petrol money.
Well, that as well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, if you're not happy to go and drive there without wanting a handout, then don't go. So with that tip jar on the desk, yeah, everybody puts the tips in, and the admins walk away with the tips. Fuck the other people that have drove there. Nah, mate. No, I'm not having that. I'm not. It smacks of. It leaves a fucking terrible fucking taste in the mouth. Having known David Ward personally, right, he'd be fucking turning in his fucking grave. He would. People wanting fucking tips.
But you better be careful because he is. You live next to him. No, you live on top of him. So careful.
Listen, I'm fucking spinning and my head's fucking. I think it's grotesque. I'll be fucking honest with you. That's my feeling. It's fucking grotesque, and people need to grow the fuck up.
It's hard enough getting people to come to these venues as it is. You know, even on their free time and stuff like that. And when you see tips jars and stuff like that, it can act as a deterrent as well, and people don't want to turn up. That's just my opinion. You know, I'm not bad mouthing anyone, but still, it's just no, man. Just don't do these things. Just don't do it, man. It's embarrassing. You know,
it's fucking embarrassing. That's the word, mate. That's the word. Embarrassing.
Oh dear.
It's a funny thing when you get to explain Exhibit F and then you have the jar right there. I would be embarrassed, you know. Oh, and by the way, there is no money and nobody gets paid, but there is a tip jar over there. If you would.
Nobody gets paid apart from the admins because we've travelled 4 hours. Are you fucking having a laugh? Wow. You know, the whole thing. The whole thing it's not right, is it? Yeah, the whole thing ain't right. She's I don't know what story is, but she's around. Nobody can stop her doing what she's doing. The information's free. Let me just explain once again. The information's free. You only have to go on to the Security by Way of Lean page, and you can download absolutely every single document that Baron David Ward ever put on. Yeah, so the information's free. So you're not paying for information. So what are the tips for? Are the tips for my time because of equity? Fuck equity. Equity's a load of bollocks. Equity only exists in their fucking realm. Equity. Time for time, like Anthony says, like Carla said. If you can't bring this, well, fucking offer something else. Everybody has something to offer, and that's the beauty of human beings. We're all good and we're all shit at something. So we've all got something to offer, whether it's on a micro level or a macro level, it's irrelevant, but we've all got something to offer. But the minute tip jar comes out, I'm fucking done. I'm absolutely fucking done.
See you there then.
Oh, go ahead, Paul.
I was just making a joke. I was telling Scott I'll see him there.
Well, in the last 12 months, I've been attended 6 face-to-face affidavit workshops. In fact, no, this goes back 3 years, probably 7 or 8 overall over the 3.5 years. And the attendances have been negligible. Yeah, to keep even turning up to these things, people say, "Oh, can we do a face-to-face? Can we do a face?" Well, 20 people turning up's now fucking good. If somebody's travelling 6-7 hours, when I'm travelling all the way to Exmouth and it's taking me 7 hours to get there, to just speak to 12 people. So that's why we put the Zooms on. People can't get there. If I put an affidavit workshop on and it's in Birmingham, somebody will want it in fucking Coventry. If I put it on in Coventry, somebody will want it in fucking Wolverhampton. We can't please everybody. So that is why we put on the Zooms, and then nobody's really got any excuses. At one point, there were 3, 4, 5, 6 Zoom calls per week going on. And yet people still want turning up to them. So what's the point? Yeah. Is there more of a point if you're all? What about if I turn up to these meetings and you've all got to pay me a fiver? Would that concentrate the mind a bit more? The thing is, I don't want your fucking money. That's the whole point. I don't want your fucking money. I've got some knowledge in my head that needs passing on. Yeah, it needs passing on before people forget this knowledge. So you get to a point. Over the last 3 years, I've put on countless meetings and fucking workshops, live, online, face to face. People aren't really interested until somebody's shitting on their doorstep. Then they're interested. Well, I'm afraid I ain't got time to wait for somebody to shit on your doorstep. Yeah? They're already shitting on this doorsteps of my street. I need to act now. Where's everybody? Do you understand what I'm saying? So putting all these meetings on to please other people don't get you fucking nowhere ultimately.
Okay, let's move on. Let's see. Elixir, you have a question? Elixir? Samuel?
Hello.
Oh, hi there, Elixir.
Hi.
Do you have a question?
No, I just came to listen, to understand.
Okay. But have you read the affidavit or?
Yes, I have read it, but I haven't read it properly. I'm just catching on.
Okay, good. Samuel, do you have any question? Well, apparently, people like to come again to the calls and, yeah, no questions. So I have another question for you then, Anthony. I am the questionary girl, yeah. So, people that are doing the liens, yeah, and they get after like the third letter, they get a response stating that the acts and statutes or whatever, or the company, or the I don't know, the 1992 Act or whatever, yeah, and they have to buy that act. That's where they have their obligation originates from. So what would you say? And let's say that the people that receive that starts to panic, right? What would you say to those people receiving those type of letters at that stage when they are on the third letter? What would you say to them? How would to calm them down and to see the bigger picture?
Well, I'll go into great detail. I'll give them a history lesson on HM Parliaments and Governments PLC and their company policy of legislation, acts written by actors acting in a role. It's all fake, it's all theatre. How can an obligation arise from something I've never had full disclosure of, I've never put my embodied hand to? Please explain to me where it says the principal legal embodiment of Mr. Anthony Heath in the Council Tax Local Government Finance Act 1992 that, produces an obligation for me to conform to your demands, which is a demand, by the way. It's not a bill under their own bullshit rules. They send you demands, not bills, because bills would fall under the Bills of Exchange Act 1882. Again, another cock-up of their stupidness. To calm them down, I mean, yeah, that's how I'd do it. I'd just give them a history lesson. Explain to them that HM Parliaments and Governments PLC is nothing more than McDonald's. And I would put that to the idiot that's sending the claims, waving around under acts and shit like that, to go and take a look with the Lord Chief Justice, who defined what a state was. State is a company no different to McDonald's. Legislation is this company policy. you don't work for that company, so therefore it doesn't apply to you. So go away, monkey boy, with your acts, making claim under acts without the legal, physical, presentable material evidence, then you're committing fraud, aren't you? Well, there's nothing really to calm people down. I mean, all the letters are designed to convey fear, aren't they? Anyway, threats. Is how they get. It's nothing different. It's a corporate mafia, isn't it? It's all it is. It's just a mafia. If you don't do this, we'll do that. If you don't do this, we'll throw you in jail. This is the actions of bullies and terrorists. And if you were really doing what you was doing correctly and legally, why would you go around threatening people? You wouldn't need to do it, would you? It's like a loan shark, isn't it? Lending you fake money and then threatening you if you don't pay up by this time with more on top. They're just loan sharks. That's all they are. They're just pirates moved off the sea into the land. I know I'm going off subject, but I wouldn't do anything to calm them down. I'll just give them a history lesson.
Yeah, it's good you're going that way, because my next question is, so for the people that ask you, okay, but sometimes they send me letters with all caps name, and sometimes they send me letters with my name in all lower case letters. So what is the difference? Why do they do that?
Well, I'm not going to go into this all caps bullshit. It's a load of bollocks, isn't it? I mean...
because all that's happening, deal with what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Whether it's all caps, lowercase, on a great big giant roundabout, it's all irrelevant. Deal with the facts in front of you. And what's in front of you is a man or a woman in an office making claims under acts and statutes. That's it.
Yeah.
People get lost in their own minds. Oh, well, perhaps this and this, and they're trying to look for things that aren't even there or are irrelevant. You just got to deal with what's in front of you. You've got a document in front of you, someone's making claims. Well, so that someone works in an office. Yeah? And those claims will still be made whether the woman that works in the office works there. It's the office. It's the office, not the man or woman working in the office. It's the office that makes the claims. The man or woman working in the office, they are liable for those claims. But it's the office making the claims. It's the man or the woman on behalf of that office making the claims, always.
Yeah.
They want people to a hierarchical structure of how the world works. So let's just say, for instance, let's just live in our little dream world and play what if, Carla. What if? Okay. So let's just imagine, what if tomorrow there is no government on the face of the earth, they all disappear. Okay? Will we ever see governments again? Well, absolutely. Absolutely, because governments can only proliferate because of the state. If you got rid of all governments across the world, all the states would still exist. Yeah? United Kingdom is a state. America is a state. Israel is a state. These are the companies. And it's those nation states that governments attach themselves to. People don't really understand how the world works. That nation state is made up of those three arms that we've always spoken about. Yeah, the executive, the legislature, the judiciary. Those three arms of the state are what everything else is attached to. So the state is a special purpose vehicle, basically. So if you got rid of governments across the world, you won't get rid of the state, yeah? The Crown Corporation would still exist. These are it's the institutions beyond the governments that control everything. Governments are fucking puppets. It's these nation states. Yeah, what do you think was happening in Ukraine with the nation state? They're all hiding behind these nation states. Well, these nation states, read the affidavit again. Chandan Kokathis states very clearly that all nation states are created by humans but are not in human control. So that's a form of AI then, isn't it?
I just said wow about 5 times. That never hit me before. Thank you.
You are, listen, this is really, really important. Forget governments, banks, all fucking irrelevant, right? They are piggybacking the nation state, and it's the nation state that's the issue. Yeah, the men and the women are no longer in control of these nation states. They are a separate entity to anything else. So let's just say every MP in the whole world, no matter what country, let's just say that they all fell off the face of the earth tomorrow. Would the world stop working? No, it fucking wouldn't. Because every nation state is run by the civil servants. Yeah, the civil servants work for the state directly. So you get rid of governments, the nation state would still be there, the acts and statutes would still be there, the men and women in the background running it, they're all still there. No matter whether red or blue's in charge, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. At least 1/3 of the fucking population in the United Kingdom works for government in one form or another. Let that sink in for a second. At least 20 million out of 67 work for government. They work for the state, not the government. They work for the state. They work for the state.
I'm here working in a technical, like down the line, but ultimately for Royal Mail.
Well, look, every company, I don't care whether people believe it's a private company or whether they believe it's a national company. I'm here to tell you, right? It's either a direct government department, yeah, and then the private companies aren't private at all, are they? They're not private. They're all owned by the state, ultimately. Because they're licensed by the state. If they're not direct for the state, they're licensed by the state. And they only exist and proliferate because no government cares about any company as long as it's paying 85% tax. They don't give a toss. And that's ultimately what this is all about. The men and the women across the world have never had representation once in history. They've never ever been represented. So it's time for the men and women to wake up. And when I mean wake up, I don't mean wake up from all the information's there. You're not being tricked by anybody. Yeah, you're fooling yourselves. We all fool ourselves. There's only really us here. We have to question everything. And when we're presented with something, as long as it falls within our parameters, we'll just accept it without question. Yeah, we can't do that anymore. Well, Royal Mail's a good example. Yeah, Royal Mail is now, they call it a private company. It's irrelevant whether it's private or not, because they all pay their 85% tax.
Right.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. So it all comes down to this public and this public perception of what the public is. Yeah, the public. The public is every single man or woman who works for the state. That's the public. Everybody that doesn't work for the state is classed as private. So when politicians take up public office, they're not taking public office on my behalf because I'm private. They're taking it up on behalf of the men and women who are on the public payroll, who work for government in one way or another, or the state. So we have to ask ourselves, well, is it just the public then that have been defrauded and not the private? Because the men and women who work for government weren't fully disclosed that this is going to happen, that these acts and statutes count against everybody. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's fundamental. It's absolutely fundamental to the understanding of this document. You have to go beyond the affidavit document to the fundamentals of what is a society. What is a state? What's a nation state? Yeah, the state is the Crown Corporation, the inner city of London. That's the what they call it. That's the old British Empire. The old British Empire was a private company superimposed onto Britain. Now it looks like it's a public company. This is what's playing out right now in what they call it, in Israel. I know it seemed like a massive leap to jump to Israel, but that's what's happening right fucking now. The Crown Corporation, back in the day, through the Balfour Declaration, yeah, took control of Palestine and basically fucking gave it to created a Jewish state where there was no Jewish state. And it was all done through the Balfour Declaration, and on paper it looks like it was the United Kingdom that set all this in motion. It wasn't. It was the Crown Corporation being a fucking private company. So it's playing out as we speak. Yeah, this Balfour Declaration is playing out exactly as we speak. If you look at fucking Palestine, I'm not saying Palestinians are fucking any better than anybody else. But what I do know is history fucking tells you everything you need to know. Before 1917, there were no such place as Israel. It didn't fucking exist. It only existed in people's minds. Yeah.
Oh
well, Israel is a nation state. That's what Israel is. And all these nation states had to come from somewhere. So those of us who are old enough to remember will remember countries like Czechoslovakia, yeah? We remember countries like Yugoslavia. Well, these countries later on in the 90s got fucking decimated because you had fucking tribes in those areas that wanted to take control. So if you can't take control of one state, you destroy that and you create 5 other states: Croatia, Bosnia, fucking Montenegro, Slovenia, Slovakia. Yeah, these are fucking nation states that are controlled by outside opposition. And it's been happening for fucking centuries. So yes, I'm at that point now where I couldn't care less if people have read affidavit. If you haven't read it by now, right, it's too fucking late in my opinion, because what's coming is gonna come regardless of whether you've read it or not. Yeah. Whether you've written 100 liens or no liens, what's coming's coming regardless. I can't stop it, and guess what? They can't stop it. It's cyclical. This is happening. Yeah. This is fucking happening. So
and if we are paying attention, we can see all of the pieces coming together.
This is it, mate. This is why it's not just the affidavit that's important. The affidavit's important, but what brought David Ward to the point where he needed the affidavit? That's what you've got to ask yourself.
Right.
Why did he need that in the first place? Because he found out what he found out. There are no governments. There are no laws. There are just men and women in institutions that have been there longer than anything else, claiming to be X, Y, and Z. And because nobody else questions it, they get away with it. And that's what David proved.
Okay, let's see if there is one last question before Anthony leaves the stage. IDQ, do you have any questions?
Loads, but not for now, thank you.
Okay, Wayne, do you have any question?
No, it's always just good listening to Scott.
I guess I've got maybe one last one.
Okay, go ahead.
I guess people might ask, well, what are you going to do when the bailiffs come around? Or
Hello?
Well, mostly I'll laugh in the faces. Because by the time they're knocking on my door, I've already dealt with it on paper. It's done, finished.
Got you.
Yeah, and Scott's probably had a few more goons at his door than I have. I've only had the pleasure of one. 4.5 minutes. It was fucked off, and I ain't seen or heard of no one since. But what am I going to do if someone comes at my door? I'm just going to open them and entertain their stupid nonsense. See what they come out with, and obviously bully them. I'll turn the table on them because I'm the highest authority at my front door, and if they don't leave, they'll be removed. And I'll be asking, where would you like to land? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not one to be big-headed or ego-driven or egotistical, but I've learned a lot in the last 3 years, and I've dropped all the fear. I don't have any fear anymore. I'm not scared of no one. What's going to happen is going to happen regardless in my life. I'm not scared of no one, but someone comes to my front door where I've got a wife and I've got daughters, then you've been fucked off, mate. Simple as. You've been warned in email. You know, you're going to come to my door. What happens after that is on you. That's it. It's on you. It's not on me because you were warned. You were given prior notice not to come to my front door, and you did. You know, I'm not scared no more. They're just men and women in trousers. That's all they are. They put their trousers on one leg at a time, just like Baron David Wood said. Just men and women, just like me and you. They've got no authority over us. They've got nothing. And they've got very limited powers as well. They can't do nothing. And as you're the highest authority of your property, you know, you can pick them up by their short and curlies and fucking chuck them off your property, and that's that. You know what I mean? I don't entertain these idiots no more. You know, I've lost all the fear, and I've learned a lot in this journey. I've been here 3 years now. You know, and it's not just emails. I want them to come to my door. I want them. They sent me a letter giving me 7 days' notice. They came on the Monday after I got back off holiday at 8 o'clock in the evening, thinking he was going to get somewhere with me. Bye, mate. 4.5 minutes gone. Not one letter since. Not even a letter to say they returned the matter back to Sandwell Metropolitan Borough Council. They've gone. And these are the worst of people, Bristow and Souter. They're the worst. They're at the top of the tree when it comes to bullying and intimidating and threatening people with prison. And threatening me with prison. I'm not scared. And they've come to my door. And what have they done since? Fuck all, because they've got no authority. And they know it. They don't like people. They've been getting away with this for far too long. They're too used to people just accepting and bending over their demands and getting what they want. And now people are waking up big time, and they don't like it. Because the tables are turning on them, not just because of me or Scott or anyone, because of all of us. You know, they don't like it, and this system will end when we end it. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, lose the fear. That's all it is. They thrive off your fear. They live off it. They feed off it. If you've got no fear, then they've got nothing either, have they? So just lose the fear, man. You don't even have to open the door to them, remember? You're not even obligated to answer the door to them. So,
right. Appreciate
no worries,
that. Thanks.
Okay, and we are in your time schedule. So, Anthony, if you want to finish off with anything, yeah, the floor is yours. Thank you, and just say thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for giving up your time for free.
Yeah, not a problem.
And yeah, so just finish off with something that you would like for people that are going to listen this later to. Yeah.
Well, thank you for the call. Thanks for Scott popping in as well, giving us his words of wisdom, which I always benefit from. And you, Carla, obviously. Um, I don't know what to say, really. I'm lost for words. I'm not a man of big words, am I? Let's face it.
You are better writing. You can always finish off by saying, "I will be back."
Yeah, I'll be back. We'll probably set another one up for an afternoon, as Amanda mentioned, so a lot more people can join. It's always nice to have these conversations and pass on the benefit of our wisdom and knowledge to other people. And I know it's not always, and I do express myself better in writing. I'll be honest with you, I like putting things better in writing than having chats because I'm not used to Zoom calls and stuff like that. I like to express my words in writing. But yeah, it's been a pleasure as always. It's nice to engage with other people, like-minded people who are full of knowledge, wisdom, and experience. What can I say? I don't even know what to say now. I'm lost for words. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you want to finish off with one of the posts that you posted this week. The
Which
one where you are explaining some of the words like premises and.
Well, it's all commercial language. English is the most bastardized and commercialized language probably in the world, if I'm honest. And they use all this language to treat you as a corporation, person. Person's a corporation, and then you'll only find the word person mostly in legislation. And you'll hardly ever find the word man or woman, which is what we all are. You'll find the word person, goods. Goods is what you find in the back of a lorry, not in your front living room. You haven't got a market stall in the middle of your living room, so you've not got no goods. So when they come saying they're going to come to your premises, well, premises is a commercial term. Private properties are not commercial settings. They're used wholly for the purpose of living. We don't live in commercial settings. We trade from them. So your house is not a premises. You've got no goods. You're not a person, which is also a corporation. Dead entities, corporations, can only contract with other corporations, which is why they deliberately convert the language to turn you into a corporation so they can contract with you, whether knowingly or unknowingly, treat you with all these things because they think in their world that what they're doing is right and justified, where you're none the wiser. It's a person, corporation, goods. All these things, it's all used in the language on SSE letters, on OVO letters, on council tax letters, debt collector letters. They use all this language because they're corporations and they treat you as a corporation and your property as a corporation. So I hope that explains a little bit. Did I post that in the group this week?
I think you posted in the chat and then I posted on the channel. Because if you put it on the chat, only the people that are in the chat will see it. So I have to post it on the channel so other people can see it as well. Yeah.
Okay, well, when you look at letters, don't just look at the claims being made, look at the words being used as well. Goods, premises, persons, occupier, householder, all this language. It's all commercial and corporate language. It doesn't apply to you. Legislation is company policy. And I'll make a point about the police as well. When you see people in non-public service roles out on the streets telling the police, you work for the public, do your job. Well, they are doing their job. That's exactly what they're doing. They're doing the job of working for the public because they work in public service roles, which is the corporations. Those in public service roles. So they are doing their job. That's exactly what they're doing. So it makes yourself look an idiot when you say things like that. The police are there to enforce policy. It's written on the side of their police car. If you look at the word police, they just replaced a Y with an E. So yeah. What else can I say, really? Just know who you are, guys. Learn the language being used with you. Look at the claims. And that's your foundation for a leaning, isn't it? And don't worry about knobheads at your door. Scott's favourite word. Just lose the fear. Stand in your power. And you are the highest authority always. That's all I've got to say. And it's been...
And have fun.
Fantastic chat.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you so much.
No, not a problem. If you're going to post this recording later, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks,
right.
guys. Appreciate you setting it up.
Thank you, guys,
Thanks
for
for your
listening.
time, guys.
and I'll chat to you all soon. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that's that. That's that. So what else can we say, Scott?
I'd like to add a little caveat, if I may.
You should and may as you wish.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
please.
just really, it's just tagging a little bit on to what Anthony was saying there. Lose the fear. Okay, so what's the best way to lose the fear? Where does fear come from? Generally, not knowing. Yeah, so when you don't know something, it means you're in the dark. So you need light to be able to see. So you need enlightenment to be able to see. So belief is a danger, right? Turn belief into fact, because belief is a doubt. And while ever you doubt yourself, you'll never truly know yourself. And when you truly know yourself, you can never be fearful of anything. Yeah? Knowing comes from knowledge. And when you know something, it removes the doubt. That's how you lose the fear, guys.
Brilliant.
Scott, did I tell you something today?
I'm not sure.
Of course, I didn't tell you yet. I love you!
I love you too. No, man, I love these chats. And listen, it seems obvious, doesn't it? It does seem obvious, but believing in something means that you don't know all the facts. That's why you believe in it. So, just the daft things like, do you believe in your mother and father? Well, no, I know them. Yeah. But I might believe in God because I can't know God, so I can only believe in it. Yeah. And I can never know it. Knowing destroys fear, knowledge. Yeah. And that's it. That really is it. So, yes, read the affidavit, but go beyond the affidavit. Yeah. Go and look at the history as to why the affidavit was needed in the first place. Question the affidavit. I did all of these things. Yeah. I wasn't just prepared to believe some old guy with a beard on the internet. Yeah. The fucking world's full of idiots, isn't it? So I spent 6 months questioning it. Well, why did I feel the need to write that in the fucking first place? I need a bit of background. And then you get a much bigger picture. You need to know some of the history of what's been taking place. But ultimately, that affidavit has everything you need in it in order to navigate through this shit show of a system. Ultimately, yeah, that's it.
Brilliant.
Absolutely
Thank
brilliant.
you. And for you guys that want to go and listen to what Scott was saying, there is a video on the YouTube channel. There is a playlist for Baron David Ward. If you go through all of them, you will hear from him where it all started, where it all originated, and you will hear how he broke the fear, because he was in fear at that time when all started for him back in 2008. Yeah, so yeah, go have a look at that and listen carefully. And yeah, it happens to all of us. It's a losing the thing that doesn't belong to us, which is fear. And with that, I will say thank you all. I'm going to do my stuff now, and we will see you when we see you. What do you say, Scott? Saturday? Do you reckon we could do another one?
Do another one Saturday evening if the numbers require it. If people want to come and join, I'll tell you what I would encourage though, if I can, because I as you know, I'll happily sit and chat, but I love the dialect. I like people to get involved more. whether it's questions or bringing something else. And I just want to encourage people just to get involved, basically. Do you know what I mean? Just to get involved.
Yeah. Yeah. And enjoy, because we are here and we are, that's the whole point of us sharing, because we all learn with each other. It's not just us talking, because when we are talking, we are listening to our own voices, you know, and we are also learning. So it's good to have this type of things going on, because that's how we evolve. That's how it's sharing and caring. That's the main point, isn't it?
Absolutely. Spread it.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you so much. And so I will book another one for Saturday then, Scott, around 9ish, yeah?
Wonderful, Carl. I'll be there, love.
Yeah, I'll be there. Thank
Lovely
you.
to be with you guys. Thank you so much.
Have a good one, folks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful day, guys.
See you guys.
Cheers. Bye.
Video.